Dublin's first Leinster hurling final team for nearly 2 decades shows leading point scorer Alan McCrabb named in midfield. Season campaigner Liam Ryan returns from injury to play at centre half forward, while Joey Boland continues at number 6 in the absence of the injured Ronan Fallon. However, the shape of the team may very well alter with an extra player used in defence. A ploy which is unlikely to seriously throw this Kilkenny side, showing just one change from the team that saw off Galway in their semi-final. Derek Ling starts his first match since last year's All-Ireland final and replaces the team captain Michael Fennelly in midfield. Henry Shefflin takes over as skipper. Referee Johnny Ryan from Tipperary starting the 114th Leinster hurling final. It's Dublin who won the toss, playing with the wind in the first half, playing from right to left. Good block down there by Tommy Welch immediately. Straight to Owen Larkin, launching the first Kilkenny attack inside there towards the inside line. Coming away with it here is Oisin Goff. Out as far as Joey Boland, the centre half back, using the wind. Dropping it in there towards the inside line again. John Dalton here. Alan McCrabb, by the way, has gone to top of the left in a switch there. Shane Durkin switched in towards midfield. Meanwhile, Niall Corcoran trying to win his battle there along with Joey Boland. Boland getting it away, but only out into the middle of the park and waiting for it there. An unmarked Kilkenny man who puts it over the bar. Very good start there as Michael Rice gets the opening point of the match. 50 seconds gone. Well, that was a result of a poor clearance out as far as the Carrick shock player, straight over the bar. Comerford takes it, goes back to make a bit more space for himself towards Aidan Fogarty. Hasn't seen any of the action so far. He has now. Lovely little hand pass. Beautiful opportunity here, and that's over the bar. Great opportunity for Derek Ling coming through, and the man from Emeralds gets his first, and it's 4 points to 1. Taken beautifully here in his stride by Tommy Welch, but again not a great clearance. Kevin Flynn back in again, looks up to see where David O'Callaghan is. In possession right now, trying to make some inroads. Liam Ryan now trying to get away from John Tennyson, succeeds, has a man inside, hand passes it in, and that's over the bar. Good score. It's 4 points to 3, and David Tracy gets his first of the afternoon. Really good work by Dublin and by Liam Ryan in particular here. Once he made those inroads in past that Kilkenny half back line, prepared to run at the Kilkenny backs into Tracy. Good score by the Coola man. 15 minutes are gone, and so far so good for Dublin as John Dalton plays that one in there towards Eddie Brennan, catches it brilliantly, releases it to a support player. It was Richie Power, and Richie Power looking for something from the referee and runs on there. Comerford's here, and Comerford in the corner of the net. Just when you think you've come to terms with the Kilkenny powerhouse, Martin Comerford comes in with the first goal of the game after 16 minutes of play. Something which Dublin should have dealt with, but failed to do so, and Martin Comerford uses the boot and into the corner of Gary Maguire's net. Henry Shefflin back as far as Michael Kavanagh. Across diagonally to Owen Larkin, and suddenly Larkin's away. Looks over his shoulder to see where the man was, nowhere near him, has a go, and he puts it over the bar. It's his first of the day. Really good play by Kilkenny. There was a nice calmness, a nice assurance about that attack. And it is 1-6 to 4 points. Thundering into this one was Kevin Flynn. Back to defend is Tommy Welch. Johnny McCaffrey now, oh, he's dropped it, and dropped it to Richie Power. Nice, cleverly forward here as far as Martin Comerford, and Martin Comerford fires it over the bar. And he's now got a goal and 2 points in this Leinster hurling final. Well, there was a breakdown in communications here, really, and Johnny McCaffrey, not sure what he heard, but he should have cut that one out, failed to do so. Alan McCrabb now trying to push forward here, ball still in play. Linking up with Liam Rush. Back it goes even further to Kevin Flynn, they need to have a go. Kevin Flynn has a shot, and Kevin Flynn puts it over the bar. Nice point by Kevin Flynn of Dublin. Forward there by Johnny McCaffrey, who now seems to be centre half back once again. Forward beautifully here as far as David Tracy, and that's over the bar. 2 in a row for Dublin. A second for David Tracy, and now it's a 4-point game, just as it was at one stage during the first half. Tracy doing really, really well, just 19 years of age. Now the Kilkenny response. Suddenly they will switch it on again, you feel, and Martin Comerford fires this one in and fires it over the bar. Got a goal and 3 in the first half, so another now for Martin Comerford in the 3rd minute of the second half. Swept across to Henry Shefflin, dispossessed well by Michael Carton, couldn't do enough with it however, and Tommy Walsh tucks it on. The Tullaroan player lets fly, and that is a sensational point by Tommy Walsh. First of the match for Tommy Walsh, extending the lead out to 5 points once again, 114 to 12 points. Good contest now. Niall Corcoran, huge one down the field there towards David O'Callaghan, who's discarded the black helmet. Dotsy O'Callaghan looking for a score. That's going to the goalkeeper, however, PJ Ryan, and David O'Callaghan has yet to score in this game. Big one down, one-handed out by Michael Carton. Collected once again and put over the bar. Well, that has been the nature of this Kilkenny team over the last 5 or 6 years. Anytime they get into difficulty, suddenly they can just respond immediately and put together a string of impressive scores. Johnny McCaffrey, cleverly forward here as far as Oisin Goff. The cornerback who's out around the half-back line at this stage. Worked in well, and worked into David Tracy. 2 points so far for Tracy. Can he get another? The answer is yes. 15 minutes to go, and the Dublin fans, I think, believe it is still possible. The impossible dream, maybe, at the beginning of this match. But Kilkenny will have their own answer. And Michael Rice making tracks. Lovely ball here for Comerford. A goal and 4 so far. And it's another one for Martin Comerford. Back of the net. The real danger man strikes in the 56th minute. A lovely ball played into him here. And Comerford on his way, lobbed it in past the goalkeeper. And it is now 2-16 to 15 points. 7 points between them. You do get the feeling, however, there's an awful lot more in Kilkenny if they need to up the ante. And that time, David Curtin gets called for taking too many steps. That free by John Tennyson. Fumbled! Oh, TJ Reid had the shot! And the referee saw some holding, and it's a penalty. Henry Shefflin was held by the jersey as he was going to try and get the shot in, and the referee saw it and awards a penalty to Kilkenny. Michael Carton yellow carded for that as Henry Shefflin stands over it. He's got 5 points from frees so far, and it's still 5 points as Dublin defend valiantly. Larkin across, oh, missed there by Martin Comerford, and Gary Maguire gets it away. Drama down in the goal mouth. That was a good stop there, hit straight at Gary Maguire. In the immediate follow-up then you had that ball flashed across the goal area by Owen Larkin and missed there inches by Martin Comerford. Final whistle goes. Kilkenny retain their Leinster title. But it's Anthony Daly and his team who will take many of the headlines tomorrow morning. Only 6 points between them at the finish. Full-time score here in Croke Park. It's Kilkenny, 2 goals and 18 points. Dublin, 18 points. Seamus Howland, the chairman of the Leinster Council, presents the Bob O'Keefe Cup to the Kilkenny captain. Didn't play today, but he is the captain, Michael Fennelly.
Look to, be in contention seriously, and just maybe lapse of concentration, let them in for the second goal, and of course they'll punish when you lapse concentration, and they did punish, and good goal from their point of view, but sloppy one from ours.
The goals won the match for us, and Martin really came up trumps, like goals and several points as well, I think, so he had an outstanding game for us, and he's excellent the last day as well, so his form is really great to see his form.
I'd be proud of the lads, but we're trying to iron out these silly little mistakes all through the league, the first 2 championship matches, but we are improving, there's no doubt about that, and we'll try and get our heads around the quarter final now, John.
All right, well, we're joined by Cyril Farrell, Ger Loughnane and Tomás Mulcahy now for their verdict on that. Ger, is that as much as Dublin could have hoped for?
Well, I suppose it's what most people would have hoped for Dublin, that they wouldn't be destroyed today, you know, because the general opinion was that there'd be anything from 10 to 20 points in it. But, you know, up to today, I just seen Dublin once on the web and once on DVD. And, you know, you can't beat being there and see what kind of a team they are, you know. And what struck me first was they're a very physically strong team, terrifically athletic, massive work rate. And the game has changed, like we're all here tonight, but the game has changed so much, like from when we all played, you know, even in the last 10 years, that now most of the players confined between the 2 45-yard lines, and that's where the big battles take place. And Dublin had that perfected. They brought back John McCaffrey back behind the midfield, and they made it into a real battle. And, you know, how many times have we seen Kilkenny out-battle everybody else over the last 3 years? But really, Dublin broke even with them at least. You know, they attacked the Kilkenny backs once they got the ball. They made it very difficult for them to release the ball. The big problem, of course, with having so many defenders, but having 7 defenders, is when you get the ball and there are 5 forwards above, what do you do with it? You know, and now they had good composure coming out with the ball. They looked up, but I think the one, if you blame them for one tactical move today, was the man they left loose was Mick Kavanagh.
But Jared,
and if you were to pick anybody else, you know, Mick was taken off against Galway. He'd probably be the slowest of the full back line now. And if they had played it to O'Callaghan and Rush at the other side and concentrated on that, it might have been a better tactic.
That's good play by Kilkenny.
They weren't going to leave him loose.
Of course.
They made sure they weren't going to leave him loose.
He was going to be the free man, whatever.
But he still held his own position. He still held right corner back. So as long as he wasn't standing in the centre, it was easy to isolate, put somebody out there on him and play the ball into him. Now, you know, we never saw Kilkenny. I think in the last 3 years, we didn't see them as listless as they were today. We have to go to that side of it. And really, they were saved by superb display by JJ Delaney, the magnificent Tommy Welsh. You know, he's got a lot of bad publicity over the last while. But he was just immaculate today. Michael Rice has been a huge find at midfield, and of course Martin coming for the centre forward.
And I wanted to bring Cyril in on that because Brian Cody made a reference to the goals being crucial today.
Yeah, and the goals win matches, like, you know, but like Kilkenny and Jared said, they were short up front. They were short 3 men up front. They packed it back, and that's fine. But then when it goes up, it's going to come back down again, and they held them there. Comfort is a great player. He does a lot of the donkey work for Kilkenny, and he's often taken up. He passed no remarks. Here you're going to see the score come up again. Now Dalton has plenty of time, looks up. Nice ball comes in long here. See the work right here. Eddie Brennan blocked. Little hand pass back here. Here's Richie Power, lose. I think Dublin hesitate here for a second. They think it's a free out. Heads it flicks out again. Now Comfort comes in here. They think there's no football again. Kenny goes right in. And from the right post, as good as Nicky English ever did, into the corner net. Now it looks simple, but that goal is hard enough to, because we see him get it onto it here. First of all, you think he's going to see, he knows if he goes to strike, he's going to be hooked. And he does it with the outside the boot. Now here again, this is the new guy, Michael Rice. Last year in training, this guy was playing brilliant, didn't get picked. Now he drives forward from midfield, which they like to do. Little long now, if anything goes wrong here, Dublin backs to don't backtrack. Look how Comfort has gone on the left, catches this ball, but again he knows if he swings is going to be hooked, goes right in, and he makes it look simple. He did the very same thing against Cork below in a league match in Nolan Park. Goes up to the goalie where he can't be stopped, and instead of taking a big, maybe block down, just a little flick, gives the goalie no chance. But the big thing is he keeps his eye on the ball, he never takes stock. Got 2 goals and 4 points from play today. But the way Kilkenny play, some fella up front the whole time is coming up trumps. They may not be sparking yet, but they've only 2 games to go to make it 4 in a row.
All right then, Tomás, what about Dublin and scoring power?
Yeah, I mean, as George mentioned, I suppose when you play up 5 up front, you're always going to make it difficult for yourself to get maybe goal-scoring chances. But like, there was no problem with them getting point-scoring chances. And here we kind of see the ball breaking out. And I mean, this is excellent play, right? I mean, I think this was just at the start of the second half, and you know, you're in a chance of a game, and you have a chance to come out in the second half, and the first 3 scores go to Dublin, and they're great scores, you know. And I mean, great belief in the team, and great hand pass out here again. Nice point over the bar, you know. And again, we see the sideline ball here coming from Alan McCrabb again. And I suppose if it's Joe Canning, we'd be saying he's going to get hurled of the year because of that, or it's Henry Shefflin, or it's DJ Carey. Jared, just as talented as everybody is Dublin, and like, I mean, today, maybe the one criticism that I would give is that they didn't put enough ball like this down to the corner forwards, because when they did take on Kilkenny, they had them with pace and they had them with legs. These are a young team. That young Conor forward there, 19 years of age, from your own club in Culla, was excellent. But David O'Callaghan himself, to me, didn't get enough of that ball, quality ball down in front of them to take on that Kilkenny full back line. And if they did, they would have maybe opened up a few goal-scoring opportunities for themselves. But at the end of the day, very, very good performance by Dublin.
OK, his name is David Tracy. I kept waiting for you to mention him.
Sorry, David Tracy, yes. Yeah.
All right. But out of it, I mean, Dublin now, do they need to win the next round?
Well, no, that's exactly it. And I was just saying that after the game. The most important game Dublin have this year is not today, it's the next day. They must take that extra step the next day. Don't know who they're meeting next, but at least it won't be somebody as good as Kilkenny.
But the big thing here,
they won't be afraid of anything.
No,
the big thing for Anthony Daly, Joris, does he go back with McCaffrey back as the extra man again, or does he go 15 against 15 again? I mean, it's a difficult point to play against. It is a difficult game to actually try and break down, and they showed today they gave no room to Kilkenny.
But Tomas,
if he does do that, you're going to need some forward inside with some bit of finesse that's going to finish those chances inside. And there's just not enough of that inside there yet.
He showed that in the league, though. He did the same thing in the league below Nolan Park.
Maybe some of the fellas, Ross O'Carroll came on today, Paddy Carter came on today, Sweeney came on today. They look fairly good when they come on. So at least there are options there, and he has 3 weeks to work on them.
But I mean, outside of Alan McCrabb and David Tracy, he got 3 points today. Alan McCrabb got 12 points. That's 15 out of the 18. There certainly is more guys will have to come up. Up to the mark.
It's like Galway, really. Four players scored for Dublin today. 8 scored for Kilkenny. That tells you the story, and that tells you what Dublin have to improve on in order to take the next step.
I want to bring in some of the audience. Paul Flynn from Waterford is here. Paul, what did you make of that match today?
Well, Des, as the lads were saying, it was great achievement for Dublin, really. But I suppose at the end of the day, they were beaten. Leinster finals are there to be won. But I think Kilkenny are they were kind of happy enough just to move ahead each time. You always kind of felt that the next goal was going to be Kilkenny goal, and as the lads rightly said, JJ Delaney there at full back was absolutely fantastic, but they do miss him in the half back line.
OK, Nicky English, can I ask you, what areas do you think Dublin need to improve in?
I think just scoring, really. That was ultimately their problem today. They never looked like getting a goal. That was because they hadn't enough players up front. Yeah. You have to sacrifice something if you're going to play Johnny McCaffrey back in the backs. But I thought Dublin would be, you'd have to be happy. The fact that Anthony Daly was a bit disappointed after the match was good, really. They're now asking what if they did this or what if they did that. So they got within 6 points. Everyone would have been delighted with that result this morning. They'd have kept Henry Shefflin, Owen Larkin, on the Kilkenny full forward line. They'd have kept them very quiet. The defence did very well for Dublin. So, I don't think they'd fear anyone in the quarter-final, and that will be the important match for them going forward. OK.
Stephen Frampton is here as well. Is it fair to compare where Dublin are now with Waterford maybe 8 or 9 years ago?
I think so. They're an up-and-coming team. I think Ger is right. It's the next match really is the big match for them. If they can get over the next hurdle, it'll show real progress, and they can build from there. They're quite a young team, so I think the next match is their most important match.
All right. Just looking around the audience, see Gary Kirby there in front of you from Limerick. Gary, Limerick was referred to earlier by Richie. In the mid-90s, you were a part of a very good Limerick team. Pipped for a couple of All-Irelands. Are the regrets now as strong as they were back then, or has it eased?
I know you'll always have the regrets. Like we had a great opportunity to in '94, '96. I mean, like you take Clare for instance, they won in '95 and '97 and went on to win the 2 All-Irelands. We unfortunately went to the All-Ireland finals and lost the 2 of them. So there wasn't that much between us. But Clare came out with greatness and fairness, where we showed that we just didn't take that extra step. So there is always that bit of regret there, and it always will be, I suppose. But
and the pain doesn't get any better, no?
It does. It always is. Like, but to win 2 months, is a big thing as well. Like,
yeah. Gerald McCarthy is there in front of you. Hi, Gerald. You were only a youngster, of course, when you captained a Cork team, weren't you, to a Munster and All Ireland title?
Well, I was very lucky, Des. I was born very young, I think so.
Are you enjoying the championship this year after all the strike stuff earlier on in the year?
I am indeed. Yeah, I think we're building up to a very good. I think Dublin can take an awful lot out of today's game. I believe that will do their confidence a power good, and they're certainly going to be a very hard team to beat in the quarter-finals.
Everyone seems to be, there's a great support for Dublin, but they'll have to kick on from it, of course. But thanks for that for now, Gerald. Well, phase 1 of the hurling qualifiers took place yesterday, and the feature match here was the clash of Offaly and Cork in Tullamore.
Plenty was expected of Cork after their decent finish to the Munster defeat to Tipperary, but they didn't quite reach the expected heights, though there were plenty of positives against Offaly and some negatives too. When Shane Dooley netted in the 19th minute, his tally for the game reached 1-2. Like in their Munster exit, Cork were wasteful in attack, but their new full forward did begin to shine. 5 minutes from the break, Isaki O'Halpine claimed Graham Callanan's pass, dummied and fired home. They led at the break, but just by 2 points. Offaly actually started the second half brightly, but then Cork struck for what proved to be somewhat of a killer blow. The excellent Sean O'Halpine found Patrick Horgan, and the replacement for the hamstrung Ben O'Connor finished superbly. Offaly struggled after that, and Cork, inspired by Jerry O'Connor in midfield, powered on. By the 54th minute, Isaki O'Halpine had his second goal, and the game was over. Cork had struck 9 wides in the first half and 7 in the second, but still outscored their opponents 2-9 to 4 points in that second period. Horgan had been impressive upon his introduction and took his own tally to 1-5. The Rebels, far from their best but still looking dangerous, they eased through in the end, 3-19 to 1-12.
We've got to play more as a team, really. That would be the one thing I'd be looking at. I mean, I thought in the first half we were a bit patchy.
In the second half, then Cork overpowered us really. They're a very strong team, and we got a couple of injuries. Shane had to get an injection at half time, and then we lost Joe Brady after half time and David Franks. So. But I'm proud of the lads and the effort that they put in. We just came up a bit short, but we'll have to just go back to the drawing board.
Tomas, will Cork have learnt a lot from that?
I think they will, Des, being honest with you. I mean, in the first half of the game there was very little. It's gone in at 2 points up at half time, and the first score in the second half goes to Offaly. And then I think the introduction of Patrick Horgan getting the goal eased a little bit of pressure in Cork, and I suppose the big talking point is number 14, Isaki O'Halpine, kind of finishing off where Setanta was, or starting off where Setanta was at the edge of the square and getting 2 goals. And it's something that Cork have been lacking in some of the big championship matches is goal scoring ability, and to get 3 goals was a big tonic for them. I suppose one big talking point was Ben O'Connor going off, and I mean, I see it for the likes of Ben O'Connor as being brilliant for hurling. They need him back in full fitness as quickly as possible, because he is one of their star performers, and he is the one that is making this team tick at the moment.
Cyril, a word about Laois and Antrim. That was a bit of a surprise.
It was a surprise, but Laois are playing at home, and a couple of Antrim lads didn't get back from holidays, so that'll show you the preparation they were having. But Laois are a very proud county, and Readme has them going well. OK, they haven't got the potential that Dublin have at the moment. Like Dublin, the 10-year plan is kind of eventually coming through. Laois are behind the posse in Leinster, but they'll still be very happy. They're going to be in the Lee McCarthy game next year, and they're going to have a cut the next day, it was a great win for them. But Antrim, there's going to be big question marks, and there'll be big question marks over the whole lot. How couldn't they get the best team out on the day that they really wanted them?
All right, let's go to the audience. John Horgan is here, great old warrior with Cork. John, are Cork still contenders this year?
I'd say so. There's very much so. Like the further go on, the more games they get, they have to get better after the trauma that they went through for the year. But still, at the end of the day, Brian Cody, he's the happiest man in Ireland again tonight. He's the happiest manager. He is. On any given day, he can produce 10 great displays from his team. He'll have 3 fellas on the fringes, 1 or 2 will be coming and going. That'll be the case all the time. He'll be the man, the other team to beat, no matter how we analyse it. I'd love to see Dublin win on to win the All-Ireland. But they have a bit of a learning curve, maybe a year or 2. It'd be a great thing to see him coming up, filling a gap maybe with Wexford and Force, and they're going through at the moment. So that would keep the thing going great. So
I've never heard so many Cork men saying they want to see Dublin win in All-Ireland. I should bottle this moment. John Fenton is beside you. John, what about Cork this year?
Well, I think the lads were saying there a while ago that Dublin's next game is a very important one. And I think the same can be said of Cork. I think Dennis Welsh is trying to start and blend a new team, maybe with a mixture of the old and newer lads. And he, the likes of Tygo Buffrey now and Pat Horgan and these guys, they need games, and the more games they get at this level, the better they will become and the better they'll play. So I think they will be very happy with yesterday with the result, if maybe not the performance, but as we know, it's the results that matter.
That's for sure. All right, John. Getting back to our panel and Munster memories, Ger, you had many memories as a player, but 95 has to be special for any Clare man.
Well, you see, for any person and for all the people that are gathered here tonight, there's a sequence to your interest in Munster hurling. And I suppose, it starts with your own county. Like Jimmy Smith is down there, one of the greatest players of all time, played in 1955. And I grew up listening to stories about Clare's, the disaster that 1955 was for them. And then I came on and watched the great Tipperary team of the 70s. Then I went to see them.
Yeah.
Next thing I was playing against the great Limerick team that were after winning the All-Ireland.
It's 95 there we're looking at just,
the end of 95. Well, that was the culmination of it. And then the great 3-in-a-row team with Gerald and John and all those there. Limerick again in 82. Cork again with John Fenton in 86. So we had 5, you know, we had so many defeats. So you can imagine then when a victory comes after being defeated for 63 years, in maybe 9 or 10 months of finals, and finally victory comes, and you can see the euphoria that brings to the people. It's not just for the players, Des. It's the whole county. Everybody here, the whole county becomes totally absorbed in it, especially counties like us. And that's why you'd have love to see Limerick footballers winning today. That's what makes the GAA. Like, the Munster Championship was created by Cork and Tip, no question about that. You know, Limerick were the next successful, then Waterford, and then Clare were really down at the very bottom. But at least Clare now have had their era. The challenge for them now is to build on that era. You know, and Len was a huge part of building up that era. The challenge now is that they have that era, and they have to move on and establish another era and become a power. Because Tip and Cork will always be a big power. And, you know, people shouldn't forget the contribution Limerick made. You know, people always talk about the 90s, the Wexford and Clare and all that. But Limerick were a fantastic team at that. You know, they were so unlucky they didn't win at least one of the 2 All-Irelands. And you'd love to see now a new team coming forward and challenging the Kilkennys and the Corks and winning an All-Ireland. I think that's very, very important.
He must be after a job in Limerick or something.
No.
There's a no. Charlie, early in the season, relax.
One tour of the country was enough.
He gets dizzy when he goes away from home.
Yeah, once I pass the clear ball, I get dizzy.
Too many bulls up around that, come back to the country.
Too many dangerous animals.
Too many bulls, yeah.
1990 for you, is it?
I suppose, I mean, your first Munster final is always special, you know, and I was lucky enough to come on the team in 1983 and kind of mentioned great players and stuff like that, like the John Fentons this world, the Timmy Crowleys, you know, Shani O'Leary's, you know, and you're tagging off in the dressing room alongside these guys. I mean, these were my boyhood heroes, looking up to these guys back in the 3-in-a-row, and you're kind of saying you get the opportunity to play with those, and that 1983 was special, and I suppose...
You became captain then, of course.
Yeah, I became captain in 1990, I suppose. I mean, I missed the Munster final.